discounts of like 68%.
Oh, let me share screen. Joe,
Hey, buddy.
how are you? Have you been talking to your buddy Jerome Powell today?
Yeah, Jay Powell and me, we were like just hanging last night at that midnight happy hour down
Well,
there.
it sure as fuck looks like he did exactly what you said he would do.
I just, I mean, we cover both sides. We cover traditional finance, and we also cover, obviously crypto. And just in all the channels, it just seemed like there was like I said, it seemed like there was so much overly concern about it, and whatever he would do would tank the U.S. markets. I just started feeling, like I said, that it was most was already priced in. That he's not going to tank the markets. He's going to do enough to give confidence that what's coming next. And I thought what was interesting is, when we look at what happened last time when they tried to do this, it's not just the tapering. I mean, tapering is just buying the stuff,
right?
The treasuries and the mortgage-backed securities. It's now the Fed has a balance sheet with, I don't know, trillions of dollars of these securities.
Yep.
That they have to sort of take off the balance sheet soon. So last time they tried this, they were doing all three things. They killed the taper. They started, sending those back out into the market, and then started raising interest rates. So nobody's saying anything about what's going to happen to the balance sheet yet. So I think what he's trying to do is let's get the tapering done, and then let's price in some interest rate hikes. See if everybody freaks out. Nobody freaked out. Obviously, Dow was up huge, and NASDAQ was, and S&P, everything was up, and crypto was up. So I think he played it perfectly.
Yeah.
Now, what happens, assuming everything holds together in the overall economy, I think we have a sound plan going forward. But things always change. Yeah. I think from our listeners' perspective and ours is that it didn't cascade into crypto.
Right.
Everything's been, I was looking a little bit yesterday and this morning, but it looked like everything was rallying in a pretty decent way, better than everybody expected. ETH's up 9.2%, BTC 3.3%. So ETH's now up 10%. But, it just made sense. And particularly like I talk about trading the opposite of the way I feel. When I see all of that doom and gloom, to me, it's like you got to go contrarian at that point, and make a call the other way, just because it's just too much.
Yeah.
Because it starts sounding like everything's going to zero, and we know that's not going to happen at this point, just because there's too much institutional money in BTC and ETH and big 20 DeFi kind of things that has bans all around that. So they're not going to let it go to zero.
Yeah.
They're going to trade if they have to, but I'm waiting now, I'm hoping for the big decoupling.
Right.
So, if people, the fact that gold was down the last couple of days, I don't know what it's doing today, but heading into that news made me think that people who are concerned about inflation aren't going into gold right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going into crypto, digital gold type stuff. I don't know, but it seems to me like that they're almost close to saying that crypto is that inflation hedge, the institutional guys.
Right.
I think we think it is from day one, but just because it's alt class, and it sort of has a different mechanic from sovereign currencies, of course. So, I think it is an inflation hedge myself, but we just don't want people like in the pandemic crash, March 2020.
Right.
God, it seems like 20 years ago, but it seems like it's been 20 years. How about that? Since then, it was everybody dumping crypto to cover stock margin calls, or everybody panicking and going to cash. And I think now everybody's kind of thinking that what's the point of going to cash?
Right.
You're going into decreasing real purchasing power. And so we need to look for something else. And so gold would be the obvious choice for that type of investor, but it didn't behave that way. So maybe they are leaning now more toward thinking that crypto is that hedge they're all looking for, and they're if they're cashing out, they're cashing into crypto at that point.
Yeah.
That would probably explain yesterday's rise in the crypto side. So obviously, we always want more and more and more, but I thought it was a good first step.
Absolutely.
So I was happy about that.
I'm pleased. I'm pleased with how everybody reacted. I'm pleased with where Bitcoin and Ethereum are. I mean, Bitcoin's given back a little, but Ethereum is still trying to go up. So I'm a happy camper, and it's good stuff.
Well, we all love up only markets, when you basically can pick anything and it's all going up. But, that's just because of so much capital flowing in.
Yep.
And coming through the cascade, either off of BTC sales or off of ETH sales or just new money in the market, just spreading it around and diversifying. But, there really aren't, like when you look at equities and things like that, you're really trading on events that happen.
Yep.
Like they didn't hit a revenue projection number, or the C-suite jet went down and took out the whole management. Not like Hooters and, other ones like that. But, in crypto, you don't have that. Everybody's trying to look for something. And so they look at on-chain, they look at, all the other types of, behavior around that in different exchanges. But at the end of the day, everybody's really still just guessing, and they're going off chart patterns. And real, equity side, TA is not as much off chart patterns as a lot of these people think.
Yeah.
It's really about events and alpha, and you call it what you want, but knowing something first.
Yep.
So crypto's not quite there yet, because we don't see what happens as far as, a lot of these are generating revenue,
Exactly.
from platform fees and things like that, but we don't really see financial projections. We don't see if they're hitting growth targets. We just see, certain metrics that are halfway there.
Yeah.
So I think once the crypto side matures more, you're going to get much more of that traditional analysis, where you're looking at events around the investment product versus a fractal, for example.
Yeah.
But, right now, since crypto's in I don't want to say early, well, I'm going to say early stage, maybe early to other people, that stuff makes sense right now. And it does tend to drive sentiment and interest, because everyone is looking at the same stuff. And whether you're crypto quant, material indicators, Kingfisher, Jarvis Labs, any of those, they all have subtle little takes on that kind of intel, and, use it to make their calls. But, they're never really stating a direction firmly. They're still kind of hedging, because at the end of the day, nobody really knows.
Nobody knows.
So, whereas I
Nobody
think people
knows.
do know in equities, because, management teams and ownership teams are interwoven into the wealth management practices and the banks. So, they do, get information. There is an information asymmetry there that the retail or consumer doesn't get access to unless they're running their money for them. So all in all, I think very good news yesterday, good moves in crypto. So I think we're on that trajectory that we want.
Cool.
Is my feel. Just my opinion, of course.
I
need that disclaimer up, buddy.
It'll be back up in a second.
Okay.
So I just wanted to note one thing. Didn't have time to create this. Just created this in Canva while you were talking.
Okay.
But there's something we should note, that today is our 50th episode, dude.
Yeah. All right, man. 5-0, baby.
Can you believe we've fucking done 50 of these?
It doesn't seem like it. It does some ways, but in other ways, because it doesn't really seem like work.
Yeah, you're right.
To a certain extent. It's kind of, because, we don't really script stuff coming in. We just sort of talk and banter like we do normally.
Yep.
So it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think, look, don't anybody misunderstand. We do a lot of work thinking and planning and working through some ideas, but like today, we're totally unprepared. So,
well, yeah, but I agree with that. But like you just said in the first part of your statement, it's the 14 phone calls I've had today before this show.
Yeah.
Talking to different people about
Exactly.
projects and
Yep.
you know, and you get assessments from everybody all day. And so when we do the show, it's more of a synthesis of, you know, a lot of thought leaders and, you know, what they have to say. And, you know, that's what good analysts do is they look at a lot of raw intel and they form it into actionable intel that you can do something with.
Yep.
And so that's what I think is cool is in our chatting and bantering or whatever, we're actually presenting synthesized opinions based upon a whole host of other people's opinions and putting into our framework and our experiences and you know, our history of doing this type of stuff. So, but yeah, you're right. Today, I said to you when we started, I said, I got nothing. So, you know, I was like, maybe we ought to tee up some of those ones that people have been sending us. And you know, then you do a quick search and you see like two good things. Like I saw the CFTC has got a new person coming in. You know, so that SEC CFTC land grab is still underway. You know, who's going to do what?
Yep.
I don't know who the person is. I just saw this like 10 minutes ago. So it, you know, means that, you know, everybody's getting serious here about how do you regulate it. So, you know, I thought that was interesting. And plenty of other stuff out there. I like all the alts rising, you know, Matic's chugging, AVAX is chugging, Solana's going.
Yep.
They're all moving. So, you know, all that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, my episode with Genomes DAO is up and live on the tube and in the podcast feed. And I got to tell you, these guys were masters at explaining how their model works, how they're decentralizing DNA privacy and selling your DNA. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They're building a really cool DAO around this. They've got most of the infrastructure. I think they've got almost everything live and ready to go. They just did a raise on Sushi on the Miso platform and made some ka-ching. They got a dual token thing going on. Really impressive group. Really, really impressive. These guys are two of the guys are from the genetics industry. Another guy has a huge amount of data company experiences. And it's a really impressive team. And the interview, what I was so impressed with was how well the three of them explained this complex. You and I have experience in this narrative, right? But how well they explained this really complex topic, and they did a beautiful job. So, highly recommend if you give a damn about data privacy. Probably the most important data you own is your genetic data, and these guys are making it so not only can you secure it for whomever you decide needs to have access to it, doctors, whomever, but you can also anonymize it and make money from it for research studies, as well as getting all the little cutesy 23andMe shit you get. So really impressive team. I'm excited about this project.
You know, that's interesting because I haven't really looked at them at all. And, you know, we both, as you said, have experience in the space and the data privacy side. But, you know, one of the things that kind of came out in my post encryption activities in the genomic space, you know, I was talking to Luna and Nebula and Shavome and all those big players there, is that there's another issue when you it's having to verify that you're the one actually submitting the DNA sample, because there's another problem where, you know, people will send in samples for other people to get their sequence information. Because you can, I mean, you know, with all the behavioral stuff out there, and you know, think about how many people are on antidepressants and all of this stuff. I mean, you can manipulate people if you have that data.
Of course.
There's a gene that basically, there's a test. There's a called the affair gene, which, you know, people with this one gene are like dramatically more likely to cheat on their partners. And so people are getting.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah. So people.
Joe, have you had that removed?
Yeah. I genetically re-engineered myself. Yes. So nobody can detect it. It's buried under, you know, my Mr. Nice Guy gene. So just kidding, of course. but because if you're going to go do anonymous, okay, so how are you, who's sequencing it? Let's say 23andMe, or maybe they have another partner. So then how do you pay for it? Credit card? Well, boom, there you go. It's not anonymous anymore. They can trace it back to you. So, and at the same time, you kind of don't want it to be anonymous when you submit, because you don't want people submitting data on other people without their permission. So there's just so many issues in this space. But I think what's different from, like, say, encryption and this, I think they were built on multi-chain or something like that, right? Encryption?
Yeah, I mean, they have a really awesome model for the data encryption. Data is not going on chain. They're using this massive encryption vault system from AMD. And I lost my train of thought for what you were asking.
No, and yeah, it's more like the blockchain application on encryption is more about the transactions to verify who is selling what to whom and this and that.
And the money, right.
It's not where the DNA data sits. I mean, you can't store it on chain because it's
too big.
It's like half a terabyte now, I think, these whole genome sequences. I mean, they're giant. So you have to keep that in some kind of database and then query the database. So it's very hard to do pure decentralized. But what I like about what these guys sounds like they're doing with the DAO concept is that they must be pinging into a database somewhere too, or it's going straight into the, maybe people are storing it on their own devices and it's hitting that, USB.
No, they have a full storage system, encrypted storage system, handles massive amounts of data. They've priced it into the model on their raise and how much they're charging for data. They have it all built in. They're going to completely decentralize governance and every aspect of the DAO. Like, the community will decide, partners will decide, pricing will decide, all aspects of the system. So they're going full blown decentralized, anonymous storage data, anonymously stored encrypted data. Just really, anyway.
What's their token?
They have 2 tokens. Why you do that to me?
Sorry, buddy. I just, you're getting me rolling on this.
It's a 2-token system, Gene and Genome.
That's right, Gene. Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, that's a good one. After Genome's DAO. All right.
Yeah. Very impressive group.
0.00625 cents per token.
And looks like their staking is live. Let me see.
Total supply of 1,270 million out. So you've got some, future. I don't know how the token gets distributed, but you might have some, dilution going forward. But 14 days down, 44.3, but up 10% the last 24 hours. So let's look at volume.
Look at the staking APYs. Not bad. 202% on their website.
Okay.
It's only on Sushi right now. 202.1% APY for Gene ETH and 108% for Genome ETH.
Well, I might have to talk to these guys.
They're really great guys. Just impressive.
Well, I mean, and if any of the listeners doubt how important this is, you just need to know 2 things. One, when we were really pushing these messages a couple of years ago, you learned first that, 23andMe's whole model is based on you not checking the opt-out button or the box because they resell the data. And
you're paying them to make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Exactly.
You're paying them $99 for them to take your data and sell it to big pharma, and they keep all the money. They're not paying you.
So they bank on the thing that you just want the information. And, that's why you see the price dropping for their secrets, because they make more money. They can almost give that shit away and make a ton of money. But So now what's happened there with them? Okay, Richard Branson and his SPAC, I mean, they're taking it public. So they're going to privatize all of that and, monetize it. And the other one I did a lot of work with was in Ancestry.com. I was in there meeting with them a couple of years ago because they have a very good underrepresented population of DNA. So, a lot of people did the Ancestry stuff here, but they've got a lot of cool data from areas that there's not a lot of data,
Right.
third world indigenous populations, specific countries. So it's very intriguing. Well, because we were talking about pulling it into another project that was kind of building avatars based upon DNA profiles to use for clinical research, virtual clinical research, things like that.
Right.
And, never, we got the talks, but, because they didn't want to hold the data anymore.
Right.
Disney wanted to get rid of that because they were like, you guys are crazy. We're going to get rid of this. So who bought it? Who do you think bought it?
I don't know.
Blackstone.
There you go.
With 2 of the Singaporean sovereign funds. I believe EIC was in there and maybe Temasek. But so they own all the ancestry data now. And what are they doing with it? They're data mining it. They're doing all kinds of things. They're selling it. So big money is trying to buy this data and get control of it. And
look, here's the thing that they talked about. They said, what if Facebook got their hands on your DNA data?
Yeah.
Now they know your anxiety triggers. They know any diseases that you're potentially going to have. Right now, they merge that with your own personal data. Please, they've got you locked in.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The other interesting thing this model solves, which is we talked about in the interview, is that you go to the doctor for the example that Mark gave, the chief scientist for the company. You go to the doctor. Let's say your wife has been diagnosed with breast cancer, right? And they do a full genetic run to see, what other things may be impacting it, drug efficacy stuff, all kinds of stuff, right? Well, then 5 years later, you go to another doctor and he wants to check something because he's worried about something he sees not related to that. And guess what? He's going to run it again. So now there's 2 copies of your DNA running around somewhere, being utilized by somebody, whomever wants to, and has your health history tied to it. And there's no control of it. Well, with this, you do it once, you have it stored, you give your health professional access to it, and it doesn't go into a full database. They do the search on chain and pull up the relevant things that they're trying to see. And you don't have to run your DNA more than once. Aldo, one of the CEO, said they were having a baby, and they were running the tests they run before the mother gives birth to see if there's any deformities or other issues, and they puncture your stomach and everything. Well, they run a full genetic screen on the baby. Well, that baby doesn't need another genetic screen, right? Unless there's some, weird thing that happens, I guess, later. But the nurse asked him, do you want to donate the data to charity? And he's like, well, what charity? She didn't know. The document didn't say. I said, well, yeah, what it is a pharmaceutical that set up a charity, and you're signing over your rights to your genetics and to your daughter's DNA, or an insurance company or whatever. And now the data, you've freely given the rights to that data to be used, to be sold, to do whatever, So he was like, no.
Yeah.
Well, I'm CEO of a genetics company.
It's interesting because 2 things. One, I was working with another group out of Nashville a few years ago, and what they were doing is going around to the small, medium-sized hospitals, the regional stuff, rural hospitals, who have no money right now.
Right.
They're all tapped, and they were coming in, buying up all of the data, all of the test samples, everything they had, and they were running their own sequences on the test data from tests that were biological materials provided, in the past. So they're able to link the DNA with the person because they have access to that data too. And then once you have that, you brought up a really interesting point. It was the one about how the Facebook scenario. So think about it. No, it's insurance companies is what caught me. So look, insurance companies, this is what they want. They want this data because then they can underwrite you more profitably, which means anybody that's got any kind of just think Gattaca. If you haven't watched that movie, go watch Gattaca if you want to see where this goes in the dystopian
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen Gattaca?
I don't think so.
Dude, you watched that one today. That's my streaming.
I may have seen it. I may have just been really stoned. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a stone movie, but
I would say that about 90% of the movies I saw up until a good 15 years ago.
15 minutes ago. I'm just kidding everyone.
I probably need to re-see about 200 or 300 movies.
Yeah, like Heavy Metal. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Look, that data in the insurance company's hands is a friggin' nightmare. And you don't think that like the Branson SPAC's going to sell it to insurance companies or license it, or you don't think Blackstone's going to do it? I mean, Blackstone's got this huge effort going on in healthcare with everything related to healthcare. And that's data that if you're an insurer or you're anybody, you're going to kind of want that data. And there's no protections against it, IDing and things like that. And then, it's one other thing that's kind of interesting is that you also have to understand that this is the foundation of what we call personalized medicine. And it's sort of in line with what you said about the breast cancer example. But, most drugs do not fit all. So that's why you have adverse reactions and, all kinds of things, because they're just trying to figure out something that's going to have some level of efficacy across the entire population. But in reality, it should be kind of custom designed like a cocktail for everyone. So, Goldman Sachs put out a report a year or two ago, which talked about the personalized medicine space, and they're forecasting it to be something like a $30 trillion market in 2040 or 2035. So, any plays in this space right now, you really are getting in at the ground level. Yeah. And, this genomes guy, I'm going to dig more into this. I'd like to chat with them too, to be honest.
I actually just tried to get him on, but they're in the middle of their weekly DAO meeting. He said next time. So we can get him on the show. He'll be happy to.
Cool. Because, this was kind of the, Encryption's done a lot of great things and they've survived. And I've actually been really impressed because none of the other groups have. Luna didn't. Luna DNA, which is Illumina's sub. Nebula Genomics, which is George Church, PhD, Harvard, genius dude. I've talked to him a couple times. And Dennis Gershom, I think, was his AI dude, who's just, quite introverted, but just friggin' genius. And then Chavon, which was Alex Schumacher's play out of Europe. Those guys were all, I don't know if that site's even up still, but they had to get a really good white paper on blockchain and genomics. If it's still there, I might have it somewhere laying around, but really gives everybody a good background. But all those ones failed and went out for various reasons. But encryption hung in there. And, now they got that, they're being acquired by Indigenous, which is sequencing a ton of African DNA in this Q1 coming up. So they're going to have a repository on their blockchain, or, being monetized with their blockchain technology that is going to have something unique that's not in the market right now. I mean, everything, of course, is all North European, predominantly white genomes in these platforms. But someone bringing in a ton of African genomes into a platform, that is going to be a home run. And I would bet there is some kind of partnership between these two that would be very intriguing to pull together. Because I think the DAO is the better way to go.
Totally. It makes complete sense because then you don't have to, then you're letting people decide as a community to do it, right? And so it just makes total sense. It makes total sense. I love this model. I love all the things that can be created around it. Like all of those things that you do on 23andMe. Like I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again real quick. I've been terrified of heights my entire life. Right. And I'm even worse now that I have children. Like if I see my children up someplace high and I go with them, I'm terrified. And I've spent a lot of time trying to combat it, like forcing myself to go up to high places, look over, et cetera. Nothing really ever worked. I got a notification from 23andMe that I actually have in my genes, I have this thing that makes me, when I'm up high, rather than using what's around me for gauging my balance, it makes me look down to the ground in a farther distance to gauge my balance. That's why my fear of heights is actually about tripping and falling or not keeping my balance. That's what I'm always imagining in my head. So there's all kinds of useful things that we can find in our genetics, and there's all kinds of interesting things, the ancestry, all of that shit. Well, there's going to be an ecosystem around their platform of people developing applications for utilizing your DNA. And I think it's just powerful. I think it's a really cool model, and a DAO makes total sense from that perspective as well. I mean, because now you can have a marketplace where people are developing apps that you allow them, you allow the app to access your data and give you information. So just lots of really cool potential. Like I said, really impressed with the team. Just really, I have never, I've done 30 plus interviews now on the podcast with DeFi founders, and I've had a few that were awesome at explaining things. These guys were like, I don't know. I felt like it was off the cuff, but it was so well done that it might as well have been a scripted show. Like it was that good. So,
yeah. And, that's a decent price for whole genome sequencing too.
Yeah. Well, and they said that's going to go to zero. Like,
no, it will.
They said we're not more than probably 2 years away from zero.
I think the next generation of Illumina machines takes the cost way down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's kind of Illumina is the mega player in the space. They don't have, other than Luna DNA, which they were going to do a token offering, but then didn't, and they tried to do a crowdfunding, and it just, they were trying to, fit into the regulatory landscape. But being a public bazillion-dollar company on top of it, the board is not going to allow any risk to stock price. So they had to, and I can't remember the woman's name who runs it, who was super cool. Like an outdoors, where was she? She was from New England, but she was out in San Diego. It seemed like an outdoorsy person who surfed and everything. Dawn something. Super awesome leader. But, the point is that this is the next wave of this. And, I'm going to dig in deep on these guys. But
by the way, they were in the consensus incubator.
Yeah. Remember David, the CEO of Encryption, was over at Consensus for a while.
Yeah.
As an advisor, their ethics advisor. And in their health, because they went to a vertical orientation a year or so ago. And another woman that I know, Heather Flannery, she was running it then and brought David in because his back, he's a lawyer by training and ethicist, bioethicist. So these guys came out of there. That's interesting because I was talking a lot to them about the other projects, the Avatar projects. And I think I remember one of the guys talking about these guys. But yeah, so out of Consensus, that's solid.
That's very solid. Like I said, just top-notch people, so impressed with everything they're doing. And they're ready to roll. They're ready to rock on it. So I'm excited,
Yeah. And the price, guys, 0.006 per token, fully diluted valuation, which is assuming, the full emission of 1 billion tokens is only 6.2 million.
Right.
So, but this is not a tradable one. This is something where this is one you got to sit on for 3 years in my mind.
Yeah. Look, this is a public good. Right. Yep. This is something solving a massive problem, a massive problem. The other thing we talked about is, look, independent researchers can't get this data. Like during COVID, one of the things I followed a lot during COVID was the amount of decentralized healthcare that blew up out of COVID. People doing research work, people doing analysis, people doing looking at the genetics of COVID. And I was so impressed with how many people came out of the woodwork. We need to encourage decentralized medicine. We need to encourage decentralized research. And this is something that does it, because now it makes the data accessible to the really brilliant people who aren't necessarily wanting to work at, big pharma, but they have ideas that they want to pursue. And we need to make it so it doesn't take billions of dollars to pursue new drugs when genetic data is the limitation. Right. And if we allow big pharmaceutical companies to buy up all the genetic data and have a lock on it for the research we all want done, then then these independent researchers will never get it. This is another reason this is so powerful. I mean, just the number of benefits across the board, your privacy, earn money, independent research, anonymizing data, all of these things combined, and tokens and staking, all of these things combined is a project, I really want to be involved in. So,
Yeah,
and the beauty of it is you get to feel good about it. You get to get your own data. It's just smart.
Well, and also it's only been out, it looks like 14 days.
Yeah. No, they just did their sale.
Yeah. And you're getting it at a 44% discount right now from the
exactly
sale price. So 44.3. So to me, that's, this is the kind of things that, and we know this space. And I know where this space is going.
We spent a lot of our life in this. Well, not a lot, but I mean, what was a year and a half I did, and you were more.
I was a couple of years. Yeah.
But
I would have a background in life sciences too, back from, the Human Genome Project in the, early aughts. And, and then, with ComGene and all the stuff we were doing there, and genomic DNA data is just like data. It's just, instead of being binary, it's got four values. So it's, I always do a lot of analogs or analogies with software and DNA, or code and DNA. It's almost the same thing. So
well, look, I mean, we have a vaccine because of genetics, right? And we have amazing new cancer and other cures coming from genetics research. So we're entering a new era of really powerful and amazing capabilities. One of the things I follow a lot, what's the doctor's name? Book is called Lifespan. There's a whole series of doctors now who treat aging like a disease.
Yeah.
And their entire mission is to figure out the genetics, the life changes, the supplemental stuff. And these are serious researchers. These aren't, fly by night guys. And they are doing research to extend life and to treat aging like a disease, because all of the things that happen in our body to cause us when we get older to not think as well and not walk as well, these are all deteriorating things. And then when you add into that all of the parts of the body we're now able to reproduce synthetically, there's a lot of potential that my children's lifespan will increase to 120, 130 years and not feel like they're 120 to 130 years old. I mean, there is some real data and potential research happening. So this space has massive impacts in so many ways for all of us. And so I think it's really important.
Yeah. And finally, one of the things that I remember, of course, it's all coming back to me as we talk, is that, it's the whole genome. A lot of, like, 23andMe is not a whole genome sequence. It's a SNP, which is like, I think less than 2% or less than 0.02. Like, I can't remember exactly, but
think about all the shit you get out of that.
Yeah. But, most of 68% of our DNA is the same as an earthworm.
Oh, so, interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah. So really the amount of DNA or genetic data that really it can be used to enhance the organism or treat the organism is, smaller and smaller when you add other species into the mix too. So when whole genome sequencing goes to zero cost or very low cost, what the angle is that you get sequenced constantly. You don't just sit on one, because what you want to find is when a mutation occurs.
So that you have this constant comparison going on. That's interesting.
Type 2, exactly. So type 2 diabetes, there's like 3 or 4 genes that fire 10 years before you ever manifest a symptom. And so over time, if we're studying everybody over a certain amount of time and say, okay, that person then got diabetes, let's look back. Oh yeah, 10 years ago, this gene fired on and this one fired off. Or multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, any of the things that come in over the course of life, and regular stuff too. I mean,
right. Hey Joe, sorry. So let me interrupt you 1 second. No, Trading Edge said happy 50th episode, gents, but he has to run. And I just wanted to acknowledge him real quick. So thanks, man. Buddy. And he said Gattaca's a great movie. Oh, yeah. No, he didn't say he had to leave. Never mind. He just said Gattaca, good movie. I thought he said gotta run. Check it out,
because never mind. You can see how bad it could be. That's okay.
I thought he was dropping. Go ahead.
So these, like, Genome's DAO, if this database keeps expanding, and so each person has, snapshots every day, week, month, whatever, over time, and then they get sick, you'll be able to come back and see, oh, why did they get sick and when did they get sick? So what that means then,
or you could alert on the mutation, right?
When it happens, exactly. And then you'd be like, oh shit, dude, if you don't, what have you been doing? Oh, drinking and smoking and partying and all that. Well, dude, if you keep that up, you're going to have diabetes in 10 years. So, you alter your behavior.
Yeah.
You tone it down a little bit, you get rest, you take your vitamins, whatever, whatever the treatments are. So it's going to allow us to preemptively attack disease before it manifests itself in our biological system.
Yeah.
And that's what, to me, is the most, and that's what Goldman Sachs is talking about with the personalized medicine space, is when it gets to that level, if you look at like Moore's law, or you look at, there was another law we coined for Illumina, which was Jay's law, who was the legendary CEO of Illumina, where it just showed how the cost of sequencing was going down faster than Moore's law in data processing. So you can see somewhere out there, 5, 10 years, 3, I don't know, there's going to be this inflection point where all of a sudden the ability to generate whole genome sequencing data is going to be so fast and so cheap, combined with the enhanced processing power out there, that we'll be able to really build these forecasting models based upon changes in environmental type conditions that cause mutations. So
nice.
Again, I could talk about this one for months.
Yeah, I know we could. And, I just got word that a lot of the folks on at Genome's DAO and from Creator DAO are watching in today. So, hey, folks, love you guys.
Hey, excellent.
But we're gonna get Mark and the rest of the Aldo and those guys and see if we can get a couple or one of them on to talk more, because I know you could love to pick their brains. But look, public good. Solid for me personally, not financial advice, solid investment. I'm going to go in. I love the staking right now.
Yeah.
Solving a lot of problems, decentralized, just so many opportunities here, an opportunity to make money with your own genetic data, an opportunity to stay up to speed with what you need, and a way to protect your privacy. So all in all, I'm just, like I said, I was thoroughly impressed with the guys. Just awesome team. Awesome team.
Think about this too. I remember there was, I can't remember the name of it. There was a company in the Palo Alto or something that I met, and they were forming groups around like people that had diseases. And they like, say you had Parkinson's, or you had, any dementia, some type of dementia, or you had, MS, anything that they could track. They had groups of people that had diseases. They were whole genome sequencing them.
Right.
And so at that point, to see what the profile is when someone has those diseases, to do the back end, that now you're going to take the healthy people, track them all the way through. And then if any get sick that have these certain precursors, Trading Edge is in gene right now. Good. Long-term.
Awesome. We have so many brilliant, I love the people that watch this show.
Yeah. So
my interactions with them are phenomenal.
So with Genome's DAO, look, it could be the hub, and all these other plays are a spoke. And then all the data gets deposited, and this becomes the repository, because this is the counter to the 23andMe, the counter to, and I'm not trying to pick on Blackstone because I've done work with them in the past, but the people that want to really privatize this stuff in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You look at any of those plays, or even Rick White, good buddy of ours out in Carlsbad, who had the Avatar projects, where, he could basically take a sequence and using some, other technology that I guess Hollywood uses for movies and creating these digital avatars, you could actually create a representation, I guess it's the phenotypical representation of the gene sequence in an avatar, which I think would be another cool partnership for these guys. So let's get them on. Awesome. Let's talk, because I've got 20 ideas. Let's see if we.
Okay, cool, and we'll get some partnerships set up for them. Yeah. Like I said, they're going to run this thing beautifully. I'm excited about this project. I really was fired up after I interviewed them, and finally got this episode out last night and this morning. So awesome stuff. Thanks for watching, all of you folks that joined us. I put a link to the YouTube video for my interview in the YouTube comments. You can also listen in the podcast. Just search on Mission DeFi in your favorite podcast app, or you can go to bit.ly/MD Genome. That's the bit.ly link that takes you to the anchor.fm page with the podcast. This podcast and the Mission DeFi podcast are in the same stream. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
Okay, so we got another one. Is it no horns, no tail has said he's looking at the Firebird Finance. That's getting ready to
I've
launch
looked
some
at this
cash on.
previously. I think maybe it was another Firebird that I was looking at. Is it thanks, no harms, no tail? Is it
It's Phantom.
Firebird
dot
finance.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
so we
take
got
a
a little
look.
video here.
What do we got? Well, you know what? While we're pulling that up, take a look at that, Joe. I'm going to talk a second about LifeDAO. Somebody suggested we take a look at this. Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to do my mini rant, which I always do. It's actually connected me with a lot of people in crypto when I do it on Twitter. Please, people, this is not a homepage. If people don't know what the hell your purpose is, this is not a homepage. I mean, this is not hard. It's JavaScript. The first time I visit your website, explain what the fuck LifeDAO is. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't understand why you want to make me go read your documents just to give me a little bit of a pitch. Now, I get it. Is that trillion?
I think it's
2 point.
quadrillion. No, there's 2 lines. There's 2 lines, dude. Look, that's the whole number.
Okay. So maybe we're not serious here. But in general, this happens on a lot of projects, right? That's
Yeah.
I can't even believe I have that loaded up, dude. That's fucking silly.
Look.
We got to wait, what do I got in that wallet? What is this? Is this Phantom or Avalanche?
This is, I think it's Avalanche.
Oh, I am. Yeah. What I mean, because $100 should be like 4 million inside of a week, right?
No. Look, you can bond with MIM at a 68.61% discount. Okay, look at the bonding on the left side of that.
Yeah, hold on.
I mean, if you're going to go in and take a flyer, I mean that's where you do it.
Wrong network.
I'm over on Firebird. I'm figuring this out real quick.
Yeah, take a look at Firebird for me. And
when you see Firebird compared to LifeDAO, you're going to say, "Oh, okay, this is what you want to see." If you talk about
awesome. Like they explain what the hell they're about. Yeah.
Got lots
holy shit, you're right. 46 for single staking MIM. 46.57% to single stake MIM. Is that live? What the fuck? Okay, this just.
Well,
Dennis recommended this to us, but it certainly feels like it's got rug written all over it with that MIM deposit rate.
You mean the bonding? Or
I'm not accusing them, please, people. I don't think it is a rug, but when I see single staking for a stable coin with what's the discount on that? 46.5.
I think you're looking at the bonding, aren't you?
Yeah.
So basically, you can come in and buy the token. If you buy with MIM, you get that 64% discount. So what you see is LifeDAO is priced at 112. You're getting it for 76 instead. And you're getting, it looks like a 46% ROI in 5 days. I don't see the.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I'm staking MIM and giving that to them, which is what I'm doing, right, to buy these tokens, to buy the LifeDAO
you're putting
tokens.
in a treasury. Yeah.
It's just kind of an outrageous rate. Well, and then of course there's that.
Well, hey man, hey Mr. Snow Dog, come on, you can't pick on LifeDAO. Just because they're. I mean, again, what is this?
Do I have anything left in my Avalanche wallet?
Trillions, hold on. Quadrillions, quintillions. I don't know what wallet. 6 is, but we're at the 7 level. Quintillion, setillion. I don't know. It looks like it's 2. I'm just making up fucking Latin, Greek roots, trying to figure it out. But it looks like it's 2 setillions, maybe.
Holy shit.
But, so I don't get how that's only 50% for 5 days. It would seem like that would be more like 1 million. You know,
Yeah.
'cause if you divide 2 septillions by 365, that's going to be a daily rate of, I don't know, man. It's going to be a big
how could it
number.
only be 102% in 5 days? This math doesn't work.
But, you know, so you keep
Wait a minute. What's that per day? 20.25%.
I don't know. Divide 7.
20.25 times 365. It doesn't work that way though. It's compounding, so I don't know, but
yeah, but at the same time,
that would only be no. This math does not work.
Well, but a lot of the math doesn't work on these things. I mean, I'm always going, wait, what? Okay, so I'm on Firebird right now. This actually looks pretty interesting. We got
let me pull it up.
So first screen, audited by Hackin, Certic, PeckShield, right there.
Oh, and they start with a video.
And they got that cool video. I was starting to play it, but it was kind of want to see more. We got some swaps. We got a profit sharing model. We got all the community links. You know, Twitter, Telegram.
He said, Discord. Did I tell you this already? No Harm, No Tale said it originally launched on Polygon.
For Firebird?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool too. And so what do we have? We got FTM. Oh yeah, we got all the chains. We got Binance, Kronos, Avalanche, IOTEX, Moonriver, KuCoin, Polygon, Phantom.
Wow, this is an over-the-top video, dude. But evil laid its hands on crypto land.
No, I like that because does it tell you that it's going to GameFi or something? So
I don't know. It's fun.
Migration. But see, this is what you want to see in a first look. You don't want to see a hyperlink or a link to the docs.
No,
that's the only
you want
place to
people to at least give me something. At least here I'm giving something to grab hold on.
But it says it. Okay, so we got.
I love this video. This is freaking awesome.
Total volume, all chains, 4 billion?
What? At the most desperate moment, a glorious sight was seen. Firebird rose from the ashes of ruin with a bright burst of light of hope and joy.
That's what we want, man.
I fucking love it.
We got some like vaulting at 982% APY. I don't see a lot of deposits here. I'm only looking at Phantom right now, so it's not. I'm going to switch over to Polygon and see what it looks like there real quick. Because since it started there, that's probably where all the big action is.
I love the over-the-top video, dude. I'm in love with this.
Okay, so Firebird vaults are audited by Certic and ongoing by DeFi-Yield.app.
This Ohm fork, right? Is it an Ohm fork? Oh, no. It's not an Ohm fork.
It kind of has a look and feel more like a cross between like Blizzard Finance and Crystal. You know, it sort of has a lot of other, or Grim or something. It's got a lot of these other cool LP vaults.
So it's like a DEX / yield farm / pool is what it is. Yeah, this is kind of a pancake / define sushi clone fork.
Yeah, because you got swaps here.
I love their attention to design and branding, though. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm going to dig in more on this just because.
Yeah, this looks fun. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. No Horns, No Tail says DEX Aggregator. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now
okay.
Somebody explained it.
So doesn't PairSwap does a lot of DEX aggregating, right? Or because you're coming across multiple DEXs to get exits, so they pull from all of them. Yeah, no, this is a really cool space to me because it also kind of gets into that cross-chain liquidity. You know, all of those pieces where we're always talking about the in-between the chain activity. I'm going to dig into this one more. And
they're going to launch on Kronos. How many chains are they on? What the fuck?
No, dude, they're on like 12 chains. They're on like every chain.
Holy shit.
You know, they're not.
Look at that. Oh, even Moonriver. Remember we looked at Moonriver when we first started the show? Yeah. And we've done a little degen action on Kronos. Nice. Well, ambitious. I like that.
Well, you know, I mean, do they have a bridge on there? That's one thing I was curious about. Do they have
see it.
Bridge?
They really should. But
because
whatever.
what I want to see, and again, this is a first look here. I really want to see a way where you can come into something and you're going to vault or you're going to farm or you're going to do whatever, like on, say, this Firebird, but then you see the prices on every single chain at once.
Yeah.
And so, or at AMMs, or it picks all the best prices and creates the best.
That's Dex Guru. Dex.Guru does that. Matcha does that, but not as many chains. Dex.Guru is the most cross-chain, best interface I've seen for cross-chain pricing. But they need to enable cross-chain trading and bridging, which is I'm hopeful they do. That's awesome. Hey Joe, I had several messages. I had several messages from people after we talked about our Olympus DAO fork / accelerator funding mechanism.
Right.
Where we talked about the idea of what's the word? Not piling on, follow on, being a follow on fund, right?
Right.
Where incubators, launch pads, funds that we trust to do a good job will have our DAO that actually partners with some of those and automatically invests in them. But I had another idea, and you and I have talked about this before. That is, we take some of the projects and we bring them on the show and we grill them.
Yeah. Like a red team, basically. Red team them, or, dogs in a dog pound kind of thing.
Okay.
There's a new dog. Let's go get it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think we just take our look. You and I have been in this. My son today sent me a text message. Said, "Dad, how old are you again?"
39, son. 39.
I said, I'm as older. What did I say to him? Something clever, because I'm clever
old enough to know better than to answer that question.
Yeah, no. I said,
younger than your mother?
I'm as old as a mountain stream and as young as a newly blossoming lily. And he's like, laughing my ass off. Dad, how the fuck old are you? I was like, okay.
That's when you say younger than your mother, and that'll shut him up.
Anyway, I think you and I, having been in the startup tech and finance space as long as we have, are pretty good judges of, hey, thanks, no horns, no tail. Enjoy your day, buddy. He said he got to get back to work. He'll see us tomorrow. Have the experience to kind of augment what we're doing here and really grill projects prior to a community vote on projects that aren't necessarily funded with one of our follow-on partners, right? So we could have an open pitch, right? And the community kind of screens them, brings the ones that they think have the most potential, and we get them on here and we interview them for an hour, hour and a half. We have them do their pitch, and then we kind of run through, and it doesn't have to be like we're trying to tear them apart. It can be more like, hey, we want to help you, right?
Yeah.
There's promise here. Let's see, how adaptive to change are they? What things are they considering? We've just been doing this for so long, advising and guiding and building so many companies. I think it would be a really cool idea.
No, that'd be a lot of fun. I like that because, I was joking about dogs in a dog pound kind of thing.
No, but that kind of sounds fun too.
Yeah, but we used to do that when I was advising a company in DC that was sort of during the .com days, and for new hires. When new hires came in, the interview, they were just attacked.
Yeah,
and it was like all the senior developers are in there. This is in real world stuff. This wasn't over Zoom or something. And and then you kind of see who can take it and who can't. I don't want to say it was a hazing culture, but it was. But who they hired mostly?
Who?
I'm gonna say I'm just going to name a school, but like Harvard philosophy majors, and they hired people outside of technical disciplines that were smart, that they could teach how to code and things.
Nice.
Like so it was more about how could you fend off arguments? Were you defensive, or were you able to parry and bring forward a new thought? It was all about what type of person is this versus how fast can I do this? They were kind of like hackathons for not hackers, basically.
Right.
But back then, everybody wasn't a developer. Now like everybody coming out of high school pretty much knows how to code, it seems like. Or maybe I'm exaggerating, but it sure seems like they do. So I think what we're saying is that we would point out areas of deficiencies in what you're talking about, bring other strategies to the table, talk about competition, who is it? What are they doing? How are you better? Talk about, are you able to change? Are you able to pivot?
Right.
Can you follow the breadcrumbs? All the things that, how many deals have you ever done where you actually ended up, startups where you actually ended up at the same place you started? People don't get there. People run into brick walls. IP, all kinds of money, all kinds of issues that you have to be prepared to change on the fly to stay alive. And then it becomes, can you stay alive or not? So execution.
Exactly.
All the things that, I didn't know when I was younger, but now I sort of have a filter that I use to go through to evaluate the people.
Yep.
That would be great. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yep. I agree. All right. I got to wrap up, man.
Yep. Me too, man. Good show for us having nothing at the beginning.
That was, I know if we got started on genetics, we'd be all right. That's cool.
Yeah. So, I guess, genomes, DAO, I love it. So, I'm going in. Life DAO, probably going to sit that one out. But I think it's a degen play. I think maybe somebody goes in and hangs for 5 days. You come out with money and sell it. They got a current index of 19.74 already, TVL of 11 million. I mean, the APY is kind of scary, but, as in
slightly,
I love seeing it, but, I don't think it's going to calculate that way for some reason.
I may plop $100 in there, just see.
I'm thinking it's like a degen play,
just for shits and giggles.
It's not the level of Snow Dog degen.
Yeah.
It's the level of, let's just throw in $50, $100, see what happens.
Exactly.
And Firebird, I'm going to do a deeper look at myself.
Yeah, it looks like a nice platform.
Yeah, I really like everything I see here so far, and I'm ready to dump my IDEX airdrops and all of that. I'm kind of tired of that one already. Just because
that W memo time buy I did the other day while the Senate hearing was going on and everybody was flipping the fuck out. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. So up 18% today.
Good. What is time at right now?
I'm looking at W memo right now, which is at $92,257, which is what I bought. I didn't actually buy time, but I bought the W memo. So I'm pleased with that. I'm pleased with that run in about 48 hours.
Yeah, I got to go. Ex-wife calling me.
She still has control.
Oh, don't think you ever get away.
That's great.
If you're going to be a decent dad to your kids, you got to
you got to still partner with them. Definitely.
Yeah. So,
have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please rate, review, subscribe to us on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, and please ratings and reviews and share and tweet, whatever you like. Anything you can do helps us grow our audience and push forward DeFi. So thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye-bye.